Okay, so it's time for a brand new edition of your favorite breakfast show. And as usual, we rose earlier than the sun to get here and, of course, give you a jump start to your day.
Now, we are regular as clockwork. You know that, right? Only because we recognize that what we serve here on the show is essential to a good day, which is what we want you to have.
Definitely. And also because we know that Nigerians deserve the best that TV definitely has to offer. And right there in the show, we have a lot.
During the show, we have a lot. We have a lot. We're going to be cooking up a storm. We have so much more in plan for you, okay?
Yeah.
It may be slow, but steadily and surely, January is winding down.
The quickest January I've seen, though.
For me, it's the slow. It's not the slowest, but it's slow.
This is the quickest.
True, it will soon give way to February, but it's still slow to me.
Yeah.
I feel like 31st is a long way. Wait. 31st is still a week, and you're saying it's fast.
It's fast, Joe. This is the fastest generation I've experienced. I don't know about you. Bruh, I don't know about you.
I don't know when these people are getting their own time.
And of course, for all the days left, we definitely are here every morning, 7 a.m. to, in fact, throughout the whole year we're here, 7 a.m. to 8:45 a.m.
Another feel-good edition is here, people. Right now, we say thank you. Dalu, obrigada, merci. So many ways to say thank you for staying with us, joining us again. Thank you so much. My name is Mary Bashua Alimi.
My name is Winfrey Angbelisha. You can definitely watch the show live on GOTV channel 27 and on UHF band 49 on terrestrial. Right now, follow us on social media. We're at TVC Connect.
You can also watch past episodes of the show on YouTube. We are TVC Entertainment. You can also send in comments using the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on social media.
Absolutely. Now to kick off, we'll be starting with Okay. And there's so much happening here on the show.
Yes, we actually have a lot planned for you on the show today.
Definitely.
And one of those things is health. We'll be talking health today, okay? Promises to be an interesting conversation. We'll be looking at taking treatment and medication seriously with Dr. Dinro Winifade. And then we'll have a musical performance by Elijah Daniel, a gospel minister who'll be here to give us something soul-lifting.
And of course, finally coming on the couch for an interesting conversation, we have content creator, writer, director, and movie producer Ifeanyi Chidi. And she'll be having a conversation with us about what her life multitasking is like.
I hope you did not touch anything.
You know, it's funny how we watch movies and stuff for, say, for short films like 20 minutes or for longer ones like 2 hours. And we fail to recognize what goes into producing such movies.
Yeah.
You see this scene now. This scene, the costume alone should tell you that it costs a lot to put together. Talk less of the set and all.
And
there's a lot that goes into
production
movies.
generally is actually a lot, to be honest. Even to shoot a pilot, we're talking about a show now, and all of that actually cost a whole lot. And hopefully, I mean, we're thankful that, I mean, this years we can see that even Nollywood movies are making waves in the cinema and all of that. And sometimes, you know, there's a buzz after a movie comes out, and then people are like, hey, what's the movie about? And then again, because they put a lot of effort and energy into publicizing it, because people need to see it for them to regain their money back. So yeah, production of any kind is actually very expensive.
Now, talking about production, I know something that has been really taking over people's minds right now has to do with the fuel situation. And besides the ridiculousness of it, there's also the stress, the costs, and it's having a ripple effect on the economy.
Of course.
It's actually started since last year, but now everyone seems comfortable. I feel like Nigerians, we just tend to ride with the tide no matter what it is.
Teaching, and the person actually spoke about how I feel most Nigerians are phlegmatic, easygoing, they adjust easily, do you understand? But then again, in truth is, what can we actually do? I mean, there's so much that can be done, but then again, I was coming to work this morning, same thing, I saw the long queues, and it's ridiculous because it's affecting the traffic, it's affecting a whole lot of things, and it's just sad.
I see that as a vicious circle, and here's my vicious circle. So it starts with you searching for fuel, buying the fuel at a high rate,
ridiculous
and guess
rate.
what? Spending the fuel in traffic,
going back
caused by fuel queues again.
It's
so
crazy.
it's really crazy. It's really crazy. But
is.
hey, As Wilfred said, we're Nigerians, phlegmatic folks. We'll be all right. I'm pretty sure we'll survive. Thank you for staying tuned. It is time for the news update on Wake Up Nigeria. I am Mary Bashua Alimi. President Muhammadu Buhari has inaugurated the Lekki Deep Sea Port, immortalized, and as well as best staff lubricants at MRS Holding Company in Lagos State. The projects are part of facilities being commissioned by President Buhari during a 2-day visit to the state. The Lekki Deep Sea Port, which encompasses an investment in excess of $1.5 billion, is a joint venture between the federal government through the Nigerian Ports Authority, Lagos State government, the Tolaramas Group, and China Nador Engineering Company. The president-led Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Minister of Transportation, Muazu Sambo, the Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, Xiu Jiancheng, top government officials and traditional rulers to witness the overloading from the container ship sailing under the flag of Malta. The Lagos governor, who addressed the president on the occasion, said the size of the vessels that will berth at the port will be 4 times the size of vessels that currently berth at Apapa and Tinkan Island ports.
This is an important project for him, and he has done the commissioning. So on his behalf, I want to thank all of you, especially all our national rulers, our KBACs, captains of industry, all of our partners that have traveled far and wide to be here. He loves all of you. His Excellency, Mr. President, it's been a long day for him, but he appreciates.
Moving on, the youth wing of the All Progressives Congress Presidential Campaign Council has expressed optimism that Nigeria and its youth will move forward under the government of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu when he becomes president. The National Youth Spokesperson Tinubu Shatima Campaign Council Aliyu Audu stated this during a youth forum with theme Youth Conversation on the Renewed Hope for Nigeria, which was held in Lagos. He said Asiwaju has pledged to deploy technology and the digital economy to create jobs. Audu disclosed that the youth can attain its collective vision for Nigeria if they all work together to drive the country forward. Other executives and members of the PCC who spoke insist Asiwaju remains the best option for Nigeria.
The APC, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, has pledged to deploy technology and digital economy to create jobs. He has also promised to work on delivering a student loan that will greatly ease the burden of students and also deliver reforms that will guarantee stable academic calendar in our tertiary institutions. The APC candidate has also guaranteed to work on reforming our security system in order to make our uniformed men more professional and to operate strictly within the ambit of the law. Without a doubt, it is my firm conviction that Asiwaju remains the best option for Nigerians.
75 billion naira warehouse fund, soft loans for entrepreneurs, youth entrepreneurs in Nigeria. And as we speak, over 31,000 youth entrepreneurs and youth are benefited in in loans ranging from 250,000 naira to 3 million naira.
Asiwaju is the man, and I believe that he is also someone who knows how to nurture and develop talent. Governor Sanwo-Olu was at one point a personal assistant to Asiwaju, and he saw the talent in him 20 years ago. Within 20 years, the man became a governor. Fashola was his chief of staff. Fashola became a governor, a 2-term minister. Asiwaju knows how to identify talents, and I, as a youth, I would rather pitch my tent with someone who can see the future in me in the next 20 years than someone who just come to tell me that I should take back my country. Who am I taking it back from?
We have a candidate that believes in the young people, that when you look at his antecedents in Lagos till date, that it is only Lagos that you see all the councillors, if not for anything, all the councillors, 70 to 80% of the councillors in Lagos.
To foreign news now, 2 of the 10 people killed by a gunman as they took a ballroom dancing class have been identified. It is one of the deadliest mass shootings in California's recent history. Hugh Cantrine is the only suspect in the attack, which happened in the Asian majority city of Monterey Park. The 72-year-old's motive is unclear, but police say they're looking at items found in his van. He died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound after armed officers surrounded his vehicle 12 hours after the shooting. A community vigil was planned for this evening local time. That was yesterday evening, rather. Monterey Park is home to a large Asian community which was celebrating the Lunar New Year festival. The tragedy is the 5th mass shootings in the U.S. this month and the deadliest since the Uvalde school shooting in Texas last May. And that's it on the news update for this hour, Wake Up Nigeria. There's so much more to come. Just stay with us.
For staying with us, my name is Winfrey Agbelish, and it's time for us to take some newspaper headlines. And I'll be starting today with The Punch. And here for the major headlines, we have power outage disrupts APC rally, stops Buhari Tinubu's speech. We have that on page 2. And for the writers, we have APC National Working Committee to probe incidents, says Bauchi rally successful. Buhari supporting Tinubu directed governors to ensure victory. Bagudu. And right there beside the masthead, we have aviation union strike stirs Lagos airport's commotion. We have that on page 20. And to the very top of the masthead, to the left, we have cash swap, CBN bars Abuja, Lagos POS operators. We have that on page 19. Federal government forecasts fresh flooding in Plateau's Bayelsa. Others, we have that on page 20. Scrolling down now below the image we have there, Lagos projects jobs as president opens rice mill seaport. We have that on page 20. To the left, right below there, we have Nigerians now have alternative to PDP APC Kwankwaso. We have that on page 14. And to the right of that, we have our doctors working for highly connected people, UNAB graduates. We have that on page 3. And diphtheria, federal government deploys response team as cases rise. We have that on page 8. And that's all we'll be taking for The Punch. Moving quickly on to Daily Trust. We have there for the major headlines, Nigerians fear massive losses as deadline draws near. For the writers, we have business owners give January 25th deadline. Food prices soar as traders reject old notes. Family reject old notes as bride prize. And right and below the masthead there above, we have NPC begins training of 786,741 workers for census. We have that on page 32. And to the right of that, we have excitement as Buhari commissions $1.5 billion Lekki deep seaports. And to the right of that, we have Ohaneze places 37 million naira bounty on IPOB leader, EPRA. And scrolling right below the images we have there, we have airlines count losses, passengers stranded as workers ground airports. We have that on page 6. And below that, we have crowd overwhelmed security forces, Tinubu's rally to abrupt end. We have that on page 12. 662 killed. 2.4 million displaced by flood in 2022. We have that by NEMA DG, page 32. NEMET recovering this, digesting 130-year-old weather data. We have that on page 32 as well. And that's all we're taking for the Daily Trust. Moving quickly on to The Nation, we have Buhari's declaration in Bauchi. Tinubu is incoming president. And right above the masthead, to the very left, we have we remain non-partisan. INEC assures electronic transmission stays. We have that on page 28. And to the side of that, we have courts to DSS charge terrorist negotiator to Kurmamu. We have that on page 5. And to the right of that, we have JAMB registers 92,490 candidates for UTME. We have that on page 5. FIRS nets highest ever revenue of 10.1 trillion naira. We have that on page 7. Scrolling right to the bottom there, where we have the image of the president and the governor of Lagos State. $1.5 billion Lekki deep seaports will boost economy recovery. We have that's by the president. And on the strip there, we have gunmen behead council administrator, and ex-Osun Amatekun boss alleges threat to life. And that's all we'll be taking for the newspaper headlines this morning. So much more to come right here on Wake Up Nigeria. Do stay tuned.
Good morning and welcome. My name is Mike Mesekeno. It's great to have you on the show. We kick off today with health, and we are looking at taking treatment and medication seriously. Dr. Diran Onifade, the CMO for Dr. Connect, a health tech company on a mission to making quality healthcare available possible via technology and mobile phone, is our guest today. Dr. Diran, it's great to have you. You are welcome.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure talking health with you.
Thank you.
So we're talking taking medication seriously, right? I want to give a personal experience. For me, growing up, medication was always a problem for me, because if they gave me and there was nobody watching me, I'll throw it. I still remember that fence where I threw my drugs over. But if they had to watch it, I'll put it inside a bar so that I don't feel the taste. I would even prefer injection over medicine. But as I started growing older, I started to understand that, look, my immune system cannot do it all alone. Yeah. I need help. So the older I got, the more I got to understand. So when I see young people say, oh, I don't like taking medicine, I try to tell them, look, it is serious, but you are the professional. How important is it when it comes to medication and helping the body or helping the immune system fight whatever disease that it might have or ailment it might have at that particular time?
Okay, yeah. So it's extremely very important for us to take our medication as is being prescribed, because if you don't follow the prescription the way it's being prescribed to you, there's tendencies that, one, you are not going to get cured for whatever you are treating. Two, you might develop resistance to this drug, especially if they're antibiotics and all. Because some drugs are 8-hourly, some are 12-hourly. So if you are supposed to be taking this in every 8 hours or every 12 hours, and you are not following that routine, this organism that the infection, the antibiotics is trying to fight, they become immune to these drugs, and it will not work anymore.
They learn.
They learn.
And then,
yes.
And
they learn. Don't forget that these things too, they are not human, but they are living things. And living things have ability to...
Some measure of intelligence.
Yes. So maybe not at human level, but at their own level, because they are cells. We are all made up of cells. So they tend to learn, and they find a way around it.
Now that brings us to the to the issue of diagnosis. How important is it before you go to get medication off the counter or anywhere? How important is it that one goes for a professional diagnosis to really understand what's happening with you?
That's a very good question, because this is really very alarming. Most of us, we grew up to go into the pharmacy and just get drug, or not even pharmacy, chemists, that's what we call them. So most of us, we just...
Is there a difference between chemist and pharmacy?
Yes, there is.
There is.
Most of these chemists in brackets, they don't have qualified pharmacies. You understand? So they just have people that can just get this thing together and just scribble for you. But a real pharmacy, there's no way they are not going to have a qualified pharmacist. If not, they have an association that's going to deal with them.
Okay.
So they always have a pharmacy on ground. So people just go there, they will just say, I want malaria. You just see one person just come around. I don't want to mention tribes now. They just put malaria, this malaria combination and all that. So it's very common. And unfortunately, these people see more patients than even hospitals. By the time you look at the data...
far more.
Yes.
Far more. Like you mentioned combination, I still remember somebody kept saying, my belly, they told me,
exactly.
give me combination for belly.
At times, I'll probably maybe want to just get drug very quickly, and I don't want to go to all the eyebrow pharmacy around, and I'll just go somewhere close, and I'll just see someone go, doctor, Rumi want something, and they will just count and count. At times, I want to say something, but how many people do you want to? If there's no system that corrects this thing, to be doing individualizing is always very difficult. So it's a serious problem. However, these people have a role they are playing in the medical system in the country.
The ecosystem.
It's very, very easy to assess them. Some people would rather just go there to want to go than go to general hospital or than go to any private hospital. They just want to quickly go. So I believe there's a lot can be done, and I know the Pharmacy Council will be looking into this kind of thing.
Now, yes, you run Dr. Connect, and I know that there is that you're bridging that gap.
Yes.
Let's enter it a little bit. Can I get diagnosis on Dr. Connect?
Yes.
Is that possible?
Yes. So with Dr. Connect, this is what you get. Let's say you have an app, you call in and you talk to a doctor. The doctor can prescribe to you based on what you have taken. He can prescribe either medication or investigation you need to do. Okay. When they have these results, you don't even need to go far. They can deliver the drugs right to your doorstep without you going anywhere. And of course, if they are sourcing the drug for you, it's going to be from a reputable pharmacy. So you don't need to go just deliver it to you, maybe through all these delivery guy, logistics and all that, and you get your medications. So that gap has been breached for you to...
I like that, because like you said, this is one way you are solving that problem when it comes to the correct diagnosis and all that. Now, how about a case where somebody says, I understand my body, I've had this diagnosis before, I had these symptoms and I was told this the first time. It happens maybe a second, third time. But at times it could be an underlying, it could be something else with maybe the same symptoms.
Yes.
In that particular scenario.
Very, very true.
So how does one go about?
You know this topic very well. You know, because you're asking the right questions. So it's a function of education and ignorance. A lot of people don't understand how disease and medication works. And we are in a system where we have our culture to some extent. We are coming from a background where most people are used to local medications and all that. So what we need to do is to keep educating people on how they need to understand how the body works and how disease works and how medication works. So it's education and education and education. If you have malaria, your symptoms might be different from my own. But you see people that say, this thing has happened to me before, this is what I use. Go to the chemist and get it. And they'll go there. Meanwhile, it might not work for them or probably cure something and cause another problem. But because people don't know how this thing works, so we have to do continuous public health awareness. So that's the only solution.
Never stops.
Yeah, no,
never
it has to be continuous.
Never stops. Now, doctor, let's say for some, if the body, so we have an immune system that fights and all of that, what are the most basic things someone can take? Is there anything like that? I don't want to use the word elixir, but is there any basic thing that you can take at any point in time, maybe that might not have any side effects that would just help? How do I put it? Maybe up until you get the diagnosis. Is there anything on the base level one can take?
So there's this saying that if you don't take your food as drugs, you end up taking your drugs as food.
Wow.
So there's nothing as good as good food, exercise. When you do those things, you don't even fall sick. And even if you do, your immune system is ready to take over the challenge. That's the best thing. That's the best thing. Lifestyle modification, good food, exercise.
What is good food? So, I'm dreaming of pounded yam and egusi later this afternoon. And then maybe in the evening now it might be a while going something like that. What exactly is good food? But how? Because we are a very, in quote, starchy community.
Very true.
Community.
Very
There's
true.
a lot of rice. Somebody rice, yam, eba. That can be somebody's breakfast, lunch, the whole week and all that. There's so much starch and all that. How can one know what to take in these ways to help somebody? What can you say about that?
So we all know that our food should contain carbohydrates, vitamins, proteins, and all that. We know all those things. But because from what you said, we are essentially a starch-consuming nation. So let me take you way back. Let's say in the 60s, our parents and all that, these people eat a lot of this starchy thing. But because they have fresh vegetable very close to them, pollution is not as bad as this.
As bad as it is.
You understand? They take their food very seriously, though they work very hard, but they still eat very hard too. So if you are working as hard as we are all doing in Lagos right now with the whole stress, pollution and all that, and you have a little bit of vegetable in your rice, or your eba, or whatever you are eating. And these vegetables are very fresh. Those days, there used to be garden. I remember I grew up in Lagos. We have garden at the back of my house.
Yes, I still remember my mom, my dad would make us pluck water.
Exactly.
Leaf. There was always ugu around.
Exactly.
Like we grew what we ate sometimes. And this is we're okay. We had that small garden.
That's one of the problems that has led us where we are health-wise in this country right now, because those things are not there anymore. How many people have garden in there? Everywhere now is now maybe one boy squatter or shop or something. In this Lagos. So they've converted those small places we use for garden into something, because everybody wants to make fast money, rent it out, do something. So that is why we are here now. And I think it's because we don't keep enough data. Because if we do, data don't lie. You would have seen, okay, this is where we are going wrong, and you handle it from the first principle.
Fact.
So that's it.
Wonderful. And then you've taken this medication and all of that, you don't get the response you need. Do you have to go, like just like I mentioned, where there's a second, do you always have to, if you feel the symptoms, do you always have to go back for another diagnosis if it feels like something that was already there before? Do I always have to go back?
Yes, you have to go back because at times, most of the things that are wrong with us don't really need medication. That's the truth. At times, what you just need might just to be rest. And what we call rest at times, that we say, I'm resting, but meanwhile you are resting, you are thinking of 1,000,001 problems. You are just, your body is on the bed physically, but your mind is calculating 1,000 things. So you have gone 1,000 miles. So we need to go back, maybe not for medication extension, it might just be for counseling. It might just be for counseling.
Wow, thank you, dear Dr. Junior. It's always a pleasure talking to you. There's always something to learn. And this is wishing Dr. Connect gets as far as possible because one can access healthcare and diagnosis, most importantly, that way.
Yes.
And we'll be better for it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Junior.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so, yeah, that's it. I hope you're able to pick one or two things there. Like he also mentioned exercising, working out. Like I say, fear can be a motivation. Fear, of course, in this particular case of ill health. All right, just go out there and make the best of the rest of your life, the best of your life. And that's all that we can take for now on health. We'll take a time out. There's still quite a lot more to come on Wake Up Nigeria.
All right.
So the ladies were very serious while this was going on. And they were serious, so I'm looking forward to what you guys are researching. The seriousness on that, this thing. It's like this issue we're about to talk about is very serious.
Well, it's funny.
It's more interesting.
Yeah, it's
it
more
interesting?
interesting.
Okay.
It's funny, but it's not funny.
It's funny and not funny.
So it's the story of a man who, I'm trying not to use the word died. Okay, who passed on 9 years ago, and his wife, his widow, was watching a TV commercial when she spotted him in the commercial. Now, it's easy to say, okay, probably a doppelganger. They just probably look alike. But then, he was dining with his son in the video. And so she made a comment. You know, social media now, you can reach anybody anywhere. So she made a comment on the post saying, I should just spotted her husband who passed on 9 years ago in your video, your promotional video. And the restaurant confirmed that they shot the video on the 9th of January. It was posted on January 16th. So it's not a case of, so she was thinking it was like, you know,
Probably a video from the
a
past.
video from 2014.
But how could
before
she
he
be
died or
thinking,
something.
so the son, has she always had contact with him? Was he missing at the same time the man was missing? If it was
no,
his...
maybe I feel because she said his son, probably from another another woman. Do you
She said
understand?
his son.
He
Okay,
said
his
his son,
son.
exactly. So probably another family or another woman or something.
Okay, but if it's, that means she knows the son.
of course she
When
knows the
last did
son.
she see that son?
So there's
that's
always
it.
that possibility
Well, I'm just
that
saying
for
that.
her
I know
to have
I'm just-
recognized the son, she probably saw the son like maybe last year. They might have kept in touch.
Maybe they know.
Okay,
She
okay.
knows
Yeah,
the son.
they
They
might, of
have
course.
like a
Okay,
normal
because now, so let's
relationship.
say, because the reason why I'm asking this is that if the son, if she met the son recently, and the man had passed on 9 years ago, and this is the recent son, then she should know that the video cannot be old. You understand what I'm saying? But then let's just let's just look at it based on what it was reported and what we know. We've had cases of couples or people disappearing on
I know. People, someone said
on their
it's not a ghost. He just ghosted you.
That one got me. It's not a ghost. It just
But
ghosted.
just a little bit, just to differ a little bit. Do you believe in ghosts?
I believe in the Holy Ghost.
Babe, give me a high five there.
Do you believe in other ghosts?
I mean, if there's a Holy Ghost, then it's possible that
There are ghosts.
Holy Ghost.
Wow.
So, yes.
Good point. But really,
No, Mary, you answer. Do you believe in ghosts?
so do I believe in ghosts?
Yes. Do you think that the spirits of those past can come back in some way, in some form, to interact with the physical world, as it were?
Yes, I do.
To interact now is where
That
I think
interaction
there's a-
is where I'm not sure.
Exactly.
But yes, I
They
believe
can come back, I
ghosts
believe.
exist.
Huh?
Yes.
I don't
Do
know.
you believe in
Is it-
ghosts?
I
Talk
might
true.
believe in anything.
No, but let him answer this one. Do you believe in ghosts?
I believe in the supernatural. I believe that there are different ways to manipulate things.
Yeah.
You know, that is as far as I can believe. I feel like there are a lot of things that we can't categorically say it is this until we get to that stage.
So, you know, I actually think that technology has weakened certain areas of life. When I say certain areas of life, say, for example, computer systems are actually said to have come from Ifa. And so for a very long time, we have some of this media, but we don't exploit. Why? Because it's African. We look at it that this is evil because we've been told it's evil. So when you see them put the, you know, do the thing with their fingers on sand and they're trying to fix something, which eventually was what came about to be the bedrock of computing systems, you actually ask yourself, are these things really out of the ordinary?
Out of the realm of ordinary.
Like, do we even bother? We tell ourselves, okay, so when we watch movies, you hear that they are communicating with someone in another continent without phones back then.
It's like a calabash.
Inside a calabash. The question is, what was in that calabash? What were the things? Exactly. But probably they were not as sophisticated as this.
This could actually be a calabash.
You know, they say, someone once said, they said something that technology, na jazz, we cross ocean. We cross ocean. You see something here. There's something that always fascinates me because at one particular time, I think it was Albert Einstein, there were some very, very intelligent men of their generation who said that things that we see now were impossible.
Yes,
I remember when the television was about to be found, he said, look, you cannot make images move. You know, so what is impossible for this generation becomes the norm for the next generation. And, you know, there's that line because technology really does make, a lot of things make it seem like, look, there is something that we don't understand. But yes, there's some people that understand it better. Like you said, maybe our Ifa, it was technology that they were, our priests that, maybe, you know.
We just didn't rate them.
We just did not, and we still don't. People disappearing, for example. You know, I feel like very soon we are going to find there's going to be technology that will be created such that you'll be here and you'll be teleported to maybe that would be nice. So you'll be teleported to the island in just a second, just by clicking a few buttons.
Just like going to the moon
with what
or going to other
planets. With what I've seen, with what we've seen with movies and all of that, someone once said something that the technology you see now, probably the military in some countries that we know, maybe US and all of that, there are things that they've tried in the 80s and that's what we see now. I mean, we've not started using holograms, but very, very soon. I know that we would have our phones on, maybe
Let me blow your mind. Holograms.
You know,
don't you watch Nollywood movies where they would call out the dead from the grave? They were practicing. They already had holograms then. See, you know, it's so easy to dismiss some of these our local things. It's so easy to say it's fetish, it's this, but they are coming back right at us in the form of technology, and we're going, ooh, ah. Meanwhile, people have been flying from spot A to spot B without an airplane.
What have we done with all that?
That is the question.
That's the problem.
That's the problem as well.
That's the problem.
You know what we use it for? We only use it for
good. We don't use it for bad.
To catch
somebody's stepmother.
Or catch the man that's sleeping with my husband.
Exactly.
Okay, that's all we use that
okay. So after all these ones we've talked, now let's even go back to this story we're talking about.
The story,
what do you think?
But like I mentioned about the sun, when I started thinking about it, there might be loopholes in that story. And you know, but let's just take it as it were or as it is. She was ghosted, and we've heard stuff like that. Definitely. But it's hard to erase your signature entirely, especially digitally. You know, I feel like for someone to get missing for 9 years, that means that the person doesn't maybe stop relating with the world, as it were, and maybe
it's not that difficult, to be honest. I mean, on the part of the lady, I mean, how far does she go to actually confirm his death?
To check.
Do you understand? To look for him and things like that. And it's very possible. I mean, the guy probably just upped and just left. Someone actually mentioned the fact that maybe he had an accident and forgot his memory. Or lost his memory or something.
Possible.
But then again, his son was there. So the son probably reminded that, okay, you had a wife once upon a time.
But if you lose your memory, just snap your picture and go, who owns me? Put yourself on social media and say, if you own me, come on. My director is saying
that one is very unlikely. You know, the son being there changed the dynamic.
Yeah, it changed it
all of these explanations make sense until the son was the one sitting next to him
Next
in
to
the
him,
diner.
right.
Because the son was there. Unless the son too
He's in on it now. Yes, of
died
course.
at that
Yeah,
time.
No,
no,
not
just-
died.
Except-
He just told the son, please, I beg, I'm
No,
not
yeah,
interested in
Yes, I don't want this.
It happens. It happens. It happens. And
was
that's what
probably
I
in
say.
an accident,
The
yeah.
longer
So
it
he ran
stays,
away.
the longer it stays and all of that, every single person, I just say that it's not so easy, and which is why I always tell people, like, no matter how, in a relationship, in a marriage or anything, make sure that your world doesn't revolve
Around
your
your
spouse. Look, it is the number one that there are hardly any absolutes in this life. I tell people that there's always an exception to every rule.
Yeah,
But there are some few things. There is absolute deity, and I believe in deity and the absoluteness of deity. But these are one of the few things that I believe are quite absolute. Your life cannot revolve around one person. The
Or a
person
thing,
is not
or a
infinite,
job,
or a thing, or a
or-
job.
yeah.
That thing is not infinite. It could end. That thing could end. So what happens to your life? So you have a spouse, you're in a relationship with somebody, still keep your friends are necessary. It's an ecosystem that you need. So that you understand, so that you don't, like, someone mentioned that, look, he was trying to escape from, yes, many people try to escape because, look, this has been their world and it's choking them and all of that. So,
No, you don't need
look,
to escape. Just open your mouth and talk.
yeah,
Hard.
yeah.
But you know, at the end of the day, let's just, I would say that it's important for us to appreciate what we have
Yes.
before it's too late. And if you're looking for a project to do, or you are scientifically inclined, perhaps you want to go to all these native doctors and learn a thing or two that could help the world.
How?
Mary.
And
How did we
another
get
thing,
there?
and so there's something I've observed as
Mary.
well in Nollywood.
Mary.
When they say attack, somebody had an attack.
Mary.
Say what Alofa. The person is always holding his chest.
Mary.
Has anyone ever thought that it's probably a heart attack? But they
Mary.
will say it is attack.
Mary.
It's
Attack
attack
is
still.
attack.
Attack, heart attack. Evil
Mary.
attack. Attack.
Okay, well, that's it. That's all we can take. Let's know your
my
thoughts here. Do you
goodness.
believe in ghosts? Let's start with that one. Let's do that on social media.
Oh, Yella. Welcome to the second
Mary, can you
hour.
stop?
I can't.
We need to send me back to the village. There's
I'll go
something she
willingly
needs to literally
for fresh vegetables. Did you hear the doctor?
Welcome to the other side of the hour, and we have renewed strength, obviously, not from that place Mary's getting the strength from, to go another 45 minutes.
Don't mind that.
separately.
Don't even mind the insinuation. Believe me. But really, welcome once again to the second round of Premium Breakfast Television Experience.
Definitely. You choose us every morning, and because you know we are the best, and we definitely go even further to ensure that we make it all worth your while.
Now, we hope you stick with us till the very end, okay?
Yeah.
Because we have a whole lot more coming up this hour, okay? It's always something new going on. You just have to tune in every day to not miss a moment. My name is Mary Bashua Alimi.
And I am Winfrey Agbonisha. You can make sure you watch the show live on GOTV channel 27 and on UHF band 49 on Terrestrial. Follow us on social media. We are... oh, Lord.
Oh, yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Remember, it's a TVC Connect.
That is the problem. That's the problem right
You
there.
can also watch past episodes of the show on YouTube. We are at TVC Entertainment. Send in comments to us on social media using the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC.
Definitely. We have so much more to come on the show.
For a musical performance, we have Elijah Daniel, a gospel minister, will be here with a soul-lifting performance. We're looking forward to that one.
And for our final conversation on the couch, we have one coming from a content creator, writer, director, and movie producer, Ifeanyi Chidi. She'll be joining us in a bit.
Why did you not tell me?
Where would I have begun?
You let me stand by and let them kill my child.
I did not know it would get to that.
You lied to me.
Yeah.
Okay,
I wanted to mention something. Oh, you have
Okay.
Oh, no, it's fine.
No, I was going to Oyela, you guys were going.
So yeah, how do you deal with broken promises?
Broken promises.
Not broken per se. Have you ever been, because this is coming off from Jollof and Wizkid Brouhaha, yeah?
Okay.
No, Jollof has been really tackling Wizkid. Wizkid says he's going to go on a tour with Davido and all of that. And then the guy...
And that's where it started, yeah.
But we know that at one point, there was a time when Jollof was still upcoming and all that, and Whiskey used to do giveaway and promising one giveaway. Seems the money did not come. And so the guy has now, Whiskey did not give me anything and all that. Because there are times, once or twice, where I saw there's one particular movie producer, very, very famous movie producer. I went for this audition, the guy saw me like, I like you. You are good.
No,
later on, come and see me.
No, I
You understand? Like, somebody big promises you something. It has happened to me twice. And person always came, you're a good presenter. I have gigs for you. Come go there. Take my number.
Or that uncle that tell you, just get a 2-1. Just graduate a 2-1. We are sending you abroad.
Exactly. So for me, Jollof is doing it in a very despicable way. But how do you deal with promises in this way?
Disappointments.
Disappointments.
That way.
Promises and disappointments, they work hand in hand.
You understand?
Yeah.
Like,
So how do you deal
see, this thing is a matter of trust, okay? And the reality is, for you to have peace of mind, don't dwell too much on people's promises.
Actually don't.
Not because sometimes they might even have the intention of keeping it, but it's one of three things.
Very true.
Either they forgot, or two, they never even had the intention. Or three,
they genuinely just
the intention did not materialize into something tangible. Like, let's say, for example, the person was expecting, say, 10,000 naira, and the person promised you 2,000 naira. The 10,000 naira did not come. And so it wasn't that they wanted to disappoint you or they wanted to lead you on. It's simply a case of they didn't have it. And so when you start preparing your mind for the fact that promises are meant to be broken, you would have peace of mind.
So you're saying
of course.
Expect disappointment and you will
Dude,
not.
do you know how many
just
people have
expect
promised me things in this life?
What I actually
don't
do is
dwell
that
on it.
once you tell me something, I'm like, oh, okay, but it's on pending in my head.
Yes.
It's
I don't even
pending,
put it in my
seriously.
head.
So even when I don't have a problem with disappointment, scratch that. I used to handle disappointments really badly until, I don't know, I think I just kind of grew out of it. So now what I think I even prefer is, fine, even if something was to happen and eventually couldn't happen, be decent enough to come and say, see you, I know I said this, right? But I'm sorry it couldn't happen for this reason. You don't even have to give a reason, but just acknowledge the fact that you said something to someone, just like even if something as simple as, I'll call you back.
Yeah, and
you don't call back, just,
that's
I know
the thing.
I said
Some
it.
people, some things happen and they just do as if nothing
Nothing
happened.
happened. That's the
As
one
if they
that
didn't say anything.
literally...
But I'm
just
making
counsel
excuses
you.
for them. Maybe they forgot. I keep saying it. There's also that issue of
forgetting.
Maybe
That's
because I'm
actually.
speaking for myself. You see me, my middle name, it will not be forgetting, Jesus' name.
Amen.
So sometimes it's not as if you want
that
to...
could be the symptom of something,
Oh, real.
No, don't laugh now.
But it's weird.
No.
I actually forget a lot of things, but something I know I don't forget is what I say.
But
If I tell you something, I won't forget
But
it.
let me
But I
tell
can
you
forget your name, your face, what you look like. But what I told you, I'll do this thing to plague me for the rest of my life.
Okay.
The brain is a muscle.
It's a muscle.
Walk the muscle.
Walk the
If
muscle.
you used to forget too much,
It used to hurt.
you understand? You
All
can
of you
also
that
take what-
promised Mike, he wants to do a Mr. Jollof for you. He's giving you signs and
yeah,
symptoms.
I didn't say that.
Time for the news update on Wake Up Nigeria. I am Mary Bashua Alimi. President Muhammadu Buhari has inaugurated the Lekki Deep Sea Port, Imota Rice Mill, and Best of Lubricants at MRS Holdings Company in Lagos State. The projects are part of facilities being commissioned by President Buhari during a two-day visit to the state. The Lekki Deep Sea Port, which encompasses an investment in excess of $1.5 billion, is a joint venture between the federal government through the Nigerian Port Authority, Lagos State government, the Tolerance Group, and China Harbour Engineering Company. The president led Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Minister of Transportation Muazu Sambo, the Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, Chiu Jiancheng, top government officials and traditional rulers to witness the overloading from the container ship sailing under the flag of Malta. The Lagos governor, who addressed the president on the occasion, said the size of the vessels that would berth at the port would be 4 times the size of vessels that currently berth at Akpakpa and Tin Can Island ports.
It's been a long day for him, but he appreciates each and every one of you for being patient. This is an important project for him, and he has done the commissioning. So on his behalf, I want to thank all of you, especially all our national rulers, our KBACs, captains of industry, all of our partners that have traveled far and wide to be here. He loves all of you.
Moving on, the youth wing of the All Progressives Congress Presidential Campaign Council has expressed optimism that Nigeria and its youth will move forward under the government of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu when he becomes president. The National Youth Spokesperson, Tinubu Shetima Campaign Council, Aliyu Audu, stated this during a youth forum with the theme Youth Conversation on the Renewed Hope for Nigeria, which was held in Lagos. He said Asiwaju has pledged to deploy technology and the digital economy to create jobs. Audu disclosed that the youth can attain its collective vision for Nigeria if they all work together to drive the country forward. Other executives and members of the PCC who spoke insist Asiwaju remains the best option for Nigeria to move forward. They recalled his achievement as a former governor of Lagos State and assured that he will replicate same in Nigeria when he becomes the president.
The candidate has also guaranteed to work on reforming our security system in order to make our uniformed men more professional and to operate strictly within the ambit of the law. Without a doubt, it is my firm conviction that Asiwaju remains the best option for Nigerians.
75 billion naira warehoused fund, soft loans for entrepreneurs, youth entrepreneurs in Nigeria. And as we speak, over 31,000 youth entrepreneurs and youth are benefited in loans ranging from 250,000 naira to 3 million naira.
Asiwaju is the man, and I believe that he is also someone who knows how to nurture and develop talent. Governor Sanwo-Olu was at one point a personal assistant to Asiwaju, and he saw the talent in him 20 years ago. Within 20 years, the man became a governor. Fashola was his chief of staff. Fashola became a governor, a two-term minister. Asiwaju knows how to identify talents, and I, as a youth, I would rather pitch my tent with someone who can see the future in me in the next 20 years than someone who just come to tell me that I should take back my country. Who am I taking it back from?
We have a candidate that believes in the young people, that when you look at his antecedents in Lagos till date, that it is only Lagos that you see all the councillors, if not for anything, all the councillors, 70 to 80% of the councillors in Lagos State are young people. And it is only in Lagos that you see democracy playing out, that every 2 to 4 years, there must be an election of local government.
To foreign news now, 2 of the 10 people killed by a gunman as they took a ballroom dancing class have been identified. It is one of the deadliest mass shootings in California's recent history. Hu Cantran is the only suspect in the attack, which happened in the Asian majority city of Monterey Park. The 72-year-old's motive is unclear, but police say they are looking at items found in his van. He died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound after armed officers surrounded his vehicle 12 hours after the shooting. A community vigil was planned to hold yesterday evening. Hopefully, the souls of the departed rest in peace. Monterey Park is home to a large Asian community which was celebrating the Lunar New Year festival. The tragedy is the 5th mass shooting in the U.S. this month and the deadliest since the Uvalde school shooting in Texas last May. And that's it on the news updates for today on Wake Up Nigeria. Just stay with us, there's so much more to come.
And it's been an amazing show so far, very energetic performance there. And now we have our final conversation for the day right about now. And of course, we have content creator, writer, director, and TV producer Ifeanyi Chidi joining us right now. Welcome to Wake Up Nigeria.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, now, first of all, you're a content creator, you're a writer, you're a director, you're a producer.
Yes.
First of all, how did you find that creative part of you?
Well, so I've always liked writing, and I think the first time I got pulled into this universe was when I saw Amaka Igwe's Checkmate as a child. I was like, oh yeah, I want to do this. Give me the opportunity, anything, I will do it.
Yeah.
But I was quite a nerdy kid, so I thought that brilliant people went to science class. So I also
you went
I went to science class.
I think all of us had a notion.
Yes, that brilliant people in science class. So I ended up studying mathematics and statistics and thinking, yes, what am I going to do with this? I ended up working in a stockbroking firm. And then one chance meeting with someone who was writing at the time on Tinsel. And I was like, oh, so this is actually something viable that I can do.
Yeah.
And I got introduced into that world, and 8 years after, here I am.
Oh, wow. So now what has that journey been like so far? First of all, I must actually talk about the dedication of a writer. It's like none other, to be very honest, because I have a thing for writing. When I write, I enjoy it. So to be honest, I feel it's a way of expression. However, that dedication to sit still, just sit still, and actually put that thing in your head on paper, it literally takes forever. So how have you managed to harness that over the years, considering the fact, I mean, starting from considering where you started from?
So it's discipline, right? It takes a lot of discipline. I remember the first time I was thrown into the deep water. It was a 260 episode series. So you can't say, oh my God, I'm tired, I just want to relax. No, it's 260 episodes. It's constantly on TV, Monday to Friday, week after week.
You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice. And you don't have a life. You have to pour yourself into these characters, pour yourself into the story, and make sure that people are entertained from episode 1 to episode 260.
Wow.
And so far, I've done about 5 or 6 260 episode shows. Yes.
Oh, wow. Like, I don't envy you,
Three
to be
of
very
which,
honest.
3 of which I was head writer, so had to be in charge.
Yes.
So.
Okay, so now how, in situations like that, how do you deal with the writer's block? In that kind of situation, is there anything like writer's block? Or is that
You're
a
not
myth?
allowed to block. Better
You're
unblock
not,
yourself.
you're not allowed to block.
You're not allowed to unblock yourself. So there are
Okay.
days where you're just tired and fatigue really hits you. So you can escape a little bit and take some time off, but you know that you always have to come back to your desk because the story, sometimes they're shooting as you're writing. So they need something to shoot. So you have to just keep writing. And thankfully, we do workshops. So those workshops create stories for a particular period of time. So the story is always there.
It's there.
You're just the one who's tired.
Oh, wow. Okay, amazing. So now, where do you draw inspiration from? Because it's not easy to literally just sit down and be conjuring things and stories and people's lives and situations. So what inspires you? What's that thing that you say, you know what, if I do this, I know I'm going to be good for the next phase?
I think I'm blessed with a very active imagination. So I can sit down here and just be thinking up scenarios about, okay, so what happens if, well, if you're a typical Nigerian, you would say, God forbid.
Yeah.
But what happens if we're here and in the TV station now, and we're in the middle of this conversation and we're attacked, right? And we're all trapped in the station and we can't leave. So these are just these weird ideas that come into my head at the time. And I think it's a talent. I think I'm just blessed with that. Okay. So where do I draw inspiration from? It can be from books. It can be from I'm reading a comic. It can be from watching a television series. It can be from anywhere. I can just be sitting
from life, like
from life, from everyday. So the last TV show I worked on, it was Everyday Experiences, Crime and Justice. It was we actually looked at crime stories from newspapers, and some of those crime stories, with a little flair of added imagination, we're able to come up with stories that were engaging. So, inspiration comes from everywhere.
Comes from everywhere. Amazing. So now, since you spoke about crime and justice, now tell me a little bit about your history in the productive space right here in Nigeria. Tell me about things you've worked on from as writer, then of course we'll produce into director and production as well.
So writing, it's a long story. Okay, so but on Africa Magic, I was story editor on Hush. After Hush, there was Jimeji, where I was also story editor. After Jimeji, there was Ajoche. I came up with the original idea that ended up becoming Ajoche. Okay. After Ajoche, I think there was Unbroken. Unbroken, I was head writer on that. Then after Unbroken was Riona. I came up with the original idea, so I created the show Riona. I was also head writer on Riona. And all these, I'm on the 5th one, and they're all 260 episodes. 260. Yes, so after Riona, Dilemma, I came up with the original idea for Dilemma, also 260 episodes. I was also head writer. In between that, I was director on Man of Her Dreams. It's a YouTube series on Buka Fed gigs. I also have produced One Chance on Ndani TV. Also, wrote for Love Like This, also on Ndani TV. Also wrote on Our Best Friend's Wedding, season 2.
Sister, you're going
on TNC. Then I'm also writing on Covenant, which is right now on television, on Africa Magic, another 260 episodes. I'm also, how long do you have? I created the show, Showmax's first Nigerian original television limited series, DJ. I created that. And then Crime and Justice, which is also on Showmax.
Wow, amazing. So now I have so many questions from all these things you've listed. Now let me start with this, right? So I went to production school sometime last year, right? And I know one issue that we struggled with our writer as a producer, from a producer's standpoint, is, I mean, given a story the way it is, and then the story getting a different interpretation by the time the film is over. So how do you deal with situations like that? How does that make you feel? Because I know my writer was literally on my, because I was creative director, she was on my every time. She was like, Winfrey, this is another. So like, how do you deal with situations like that?
Okay, I think TV is a very different space.
Very true.
From
very true.
film.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people like to play with the interpretation of film. You're not allowed to do that on TV.
Yes.
The writer is king on TV.
Okay.
So once the writer says the person comes in, the person is going to come in.
Yes.
If you want to change that person from coming in, you have to call the writer.
Yes.
To say, okay, if I change the person from coming in from this angle, is that going to affect your story down the line? True. So I haven't really had to fight producers and directors on changing stuff. And because I've done this for a long time, there's a lot of trust, especially with people I work with. They're like, oh, once it's coming from Fifi, which is what they call me, once it's coming from Fifi, we can trust it. We are going to do exactly what she says we should do. And I'm kind of like,
okay, so you've not worked with erratic directors.
They're not allowed to be erratic with me.
Okay, they're not allowed. Okay, directors get it.
You're not allowed to be erratic with me.
All right.
Because if you affect the story too much, especially in a 260 episode show, if you do something in episode 90, that affects what we've written in episode 200, we're in a huge mess.
Yes.
So everybody has to strictly adhere to what's...
it. That actually makes a whole lot of sense. So now talk to me about your role as a director. How are you able to say, you know what, I've written this story, now I want to direct it? How do you morph into that director?
Okay, I think one thing that's helped me as a director is writing. So a lot of the time when I write as if I'm going to direct it.
Okay.
Which is helpful for me because I can already see the pictures when I'm writing it. So I can see, especially when we've cast, I see when I'm writing, I see the actor doing the thing. So I know what actions I want that actor to, or the placements I want that actor to be in, or the kind of emotions
you want
the actor to.
So actually,
writing has actually helped me in directing a whole lot because I can see the pictures in my head.
I mean, that actually makes sense because I mean, if you're writing it, you know exactly what you want, and you're in the best position to actually direct the actors or people on screen to deliver that. That's actually amazing. So now, when we talk about the Nigerian movie space, or let's talk about the Nigerian production space generally. So now, what are those things that, if you had the opportunity, you would change, given your experience in the industry for the past 8 years?
This is a trap.
Yeah, no, it's not.
So it's, I feel like the Nigerian movie content space is young. A lot of times I see us comparing ourselves with Hollywood, who has been there forever. A lot of stuff is changing. So a lot of content we're bringing out now, a lot of people are like, oh, Nollywood is improving, Nollywood is improving. There's a lot of stuff coming out that is different from what we've been used to, but also drawing from what we've been used to, because you can't forget your past if you want to change stuff. You remember the OG TV and OG movies? We enjoyed them a lot because story was strong. One of the things that I would like to encourage moving forward is strong stories. Stories that are character-driven, stories that you want to root for the characters. You cry when they're crying. You are happy when they're happy. You want them to succeed or you want them to fail, especially if it's a villain that you absolutely hate. One of the things we've enjoyed on TV is creating characters that people are actually swearing for online. Like you go on Twitter and they're like, I'm waiting for this person to die. God should jam them, you know? So getting that kind of reaction from people who are watching television, it's amazing. So that's something I'd like to drive going forward when it comes to the content space. Creating stories that people root for, characters people cry with, enjoy, celebrate when they're celebrating, cry when they're crying, or just hate.
Just hate, outrightly. Amazing. Of course, I think that's what really matters. It's very necessary because, I mean, I should watch something that I can connect with on several levels. And that's why I love the fact you're talking about stories. I mean, your stories are mostly originated from here, right? Nigerian, and goes to the roots of it. And I mean, the details, I mean, very important. So all those things need to actually check out. So now, seeing yourself in the next 10 years, what do you see? Don't give me a blurred up imagination. Tell me.
In the next 10 years.
Yes.
to be a driver in the content space. So not just producing TV, but also producing people who can produce TV.
Okay.
Because
very necessary.
My introduction to TV, there were people ahead of me that I wanted to be like. Right? So I watched the Tunde Aladeses, I watched the Victor Sanchez Agawas, and they had created impact in this television space, and you just wanted to be like them.
Yes.
So not just creating great television and creating great content, but also inspiring people behind me to also create great content. That's the way that this cycle can continue. So in trainings, in teachings, and then also impacting the space with great TV. I will be known for great TV.
You will be known.
I will be known for great TV.
She said it all. I don't think we need anything else on this show. And at that point, it comes to an end. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Amazing. I like your energy. I like your drive. And I think very important, impacting the next generation to actually do great stuff. Because, I mean, gone are the days we're hoarding all of that information. Now it's time to disperse it and share it so that we actually have more people coming after you that do great stuff. Thank you so much for being here. And on that note, it's been an amazing show right here on the Tuesday edition of Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Winfrey Agbeleshi, and from all of us at the studio, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.